Hey guys, it's John. You're on the JRB Tree Climbing Channel. I think we're all familiar with the concept of a unit of measure we call a foot. It was rumored to have been defined by King Henry I, but a little research on the topic says that multiple societies came up with that concept and long before. And sure enough, I took off my boot and I measured it. Well, my boot's about 13 inches. What can we do with that information in the field? Turns out an inch is rumored to have originated in the width of a man's thumb at the thumbnail. Mine's about an inch. When we get in the field, there are multiple scenarios, several are about climbing, where we need a specific measurement and we don't have a measuring device to get one. For example, tying the longhorn agile hitch. As I mentioned, this is 1 inch. My body, these two fingers spread apart, are about 4 inches. These two fingers, about 6 inches. If I take my pinky and my thumb and I put my index finger down against the object, that's about 8 inches. If I lay my hand flat and stretch as far as I can, I get about 9.5 inches. If I put my elbow against a door jamb and measure the point at which I make a fist, that's about 15 inches. I straighten these segments of my fingers and I get to the middle finger about 17 inches, and I outstretch my hand in this fashion and I get 19 3/8 inches. And speaking of the latter, it was only a couple weeks ago where I proudly walked up to my buck as he lay in the forest after a clean shot and clean kill, and as I admired him, I dropped my arm inside of his spread, and it turns out I knew exactly it was 19 3/8 inches on his spread. My wingspan, here's a 6-foot cord. If I pinch one end with this finger, with these two fingers, and the same with the other side, and I reach out, that's exactly 6 feet. It turns out I've got a great 6-foot calibration device built into my body. Well, what if I wanted a 7-foot cord? Well, here's a 7-foot cord, but I could have cut it in the field. How? Well, I'll start by measuring 6 feet. There's 6 feet. And I know that my fully outstretched hand, is about 9.5 inches, and I've got 2.5 left. I can guess that, but 2.5 is roughly the width of these 3 fingers. I've got these dimensions. And again, my body size might be different than yours, but we can build a little list for ourselves, have them do a little math in the field, and we can measure just about anything we need to measure. So, real world example. I just got this brand new saddle. I haven't climbed in it yet. It's the Land Baron from Ape Canyon. All my hunting stuff is in the truck and I didn't want to disturb it. I grabbed the rope. I need to tie a longhorn agile. Here's a 7-foot cord. I just measured and cut it. According to the length specifications for the longhorn agile hitch, as published on my website, jrbtreeclimbing.com, the longhorn loop needs a 14-inch starting end. How am I going to get 14 inches? Well, I'll start with getting 9.5 with my hand span. So I've got 9.5, and I know that this is 4. So that's 14. I back off a 1/2 inch. I've got 14-inch working ends here. I'll start to form my longhorn loop. I'm going to give you this video at normal speed. I'm not going to speed anything up because there's other lessons in here. Lessons like, well, how long does it take to actually tie these knots once we know them cold? How does John like to dress them? Firmly. Pull on all 4 ends and make sure that it's firmly dressed and tight. Okay, but now I need to form a longhorn agile out of this longhorn loop. And according to the length specifications, I need 20 inches on this loop. How am I going to measure 20 inches? Well, it turns out that 19 3/8 I gave you, well, I measured that as well. And it turns out if I put my arm in here like this, and I go to the outstretched tip of my finger, that is 20 inches. I got lucky. My point is, we can use our body to create and verify measurements that we make in the field. Let's go climb a tree. Perfect. Now, if I needed to, of course I would retie that, but it's perfect. Anything you see here you want to know more about, head over to the website jrbtreeclimbing.com.